I'm Remo, and this is the Daily Signal for July 16th, 2025. We're starting immediately with breaking developments that will shape your day. Here are today's top 10 stories. Thousands of Afghans secretly relocated to Britain after massive data leak exposes covert operation. Israel launches airstrikes on Syrian forces entering Druze city following deadly overnight clashes. Nazi-stolen erotic mosaic from World War II finally returned to Pompeii after 80 years. Trump administration resumes controversial deportation flights, sending 5 migrants to African nation Eswatini. 2 vandals sentenced to over 4 years in prison for destroying England's beloved sycamore gap tree. UN reports alarming child malnutrition surge in Gaza as Israeli strikes kill 93 people in latest escalation. Air India crash puts Boeing aircraft safety under intense global scrutiny once again. Iran faces crushing new sanctions if nuclear deal talks fail by August deadline. French Prime Minister proposes scrapping 2 public holidays to slash national debt. Military analysis reveals Israel's overwhelming air superiority could reshape Middle East conflict dynamics. Now let's dive into each story. Afghan data leak exposes secret UK transfers. Breaking overnight, thousands of Afghans have been secretly moved to Britain following a catastrophic data leak that exposed sensitive government information. Here's what happened. The leak revealed covert operations to transfer Afghan nationals, but British authorities haven't released exact numbers or methods used. The human impact is immediate. Afghan communities face uncertainty about their status, while UK residents demand answers about security protocols. This isn't just about immigration, it's about data security failures that could have endangered lives. Why this matters to you? This exposes how data breaches can trigger massive, undisclosed population movements. If your government can secretly relocate thousands without disclosure, what else are they doing without your knowledge? Israeli airstrikes hit Syrian forces. In Syria, Israeli forces launched airstrikes targeting groups attempting to enter a Druze-majority city after deadly clashes erupted yesterday. The strikes mark another escalation in the complex Syrian conflict. The immediate trigger: forces were advancing toward the Druze city when Israel intervened militarily. Druze communities, caught between various factions, face increasing dangers as regional powers use their territories as battlegrounds. This connects to broader Middle East tensions. Every Israeli strike in Syria risks triggering wider conflicts involving Iran, Russia, and other regional powers. For global markets, this instability affects oil prices and regional trade routes you rely on daily. Nazi-stolen artwork returns to Pompeii. An erotic mosaic stolen by a Nazi captain during World War II has been officially returned to Pompeii after 80 years. The Italian government celebrated this as a victory for cultural heritage recovery. Here's the remarkable detail. This ancient artwork survived the destruction of Pompeii, Nazi occupation, and decades of displacement before finally returning home. The mosaic's return strengthens Pompeii's tourism appeal and cultural significance. Why this resonates globally: thousands of artworks stolen during conflicts remain missing worldwide. This successful repatriation shows international cooperation can restore cultural heritage, giving hope to communities worldwide seeking their lost treasures. Trump deportation flights resume. The Trump administration resumed controversial deportation flights yesterday, sending 5 migrants to Eswatini after their home countries refused to accept them back. This marks the 3rd such flight this year to the African nation. The critical detail: these weren't ordinary deportations. The 5 men from Vietnam, Laos, Yemen, Cuba, and Jamaica were convicted of serious crimes, but when their home countries rejected them, the U.S. sent them to Eswatini instead. This policy raises urgent questions about third country deportations. These individuals now face rebuilding lives in a country they may have never visited, while Eswatini bears the burden of accepting foreign nationals with criminal records. Sycamore Gap Tree vandals sentenced. 2 individuals received over 4 years in prison for deliberately felling England's beloved Sycamore Gap tree. The sentencing reflects how seriously courts now treat environmental and cultural vandalism. The backstory that makes this heartbreaking: this 150-year-old tree was featured in films, countless photographs, and was a pilgrimage site for nature lovers. Its destruction devastated communities who saw it as a symbol of natural beauty and continuity. The broader significance. This harsh sentence sends a message that destroying natural landmarks will face serious consequences. As environmental vandalism increases globally, this case sets a precedent for protecting irreplaceable natural heritage. Gaza crisis deepens with child malnutrition. A new UN report documents alarming increases in child malnutrition rates in Gaza as Israeli strikes killed 93 people in the latest escalation. The humanitarian crisis is reaching catastrophic levels. The devastating reality: Gaza's children face severe food insecurity while conflict prevents adequate medical care and aid delivery. International calls for ceasefires intensify as conditions deteriorate rapidly. This affects global stability because the humanitarian toll fuels broader Middle Eastern tensions. The crisis tests international law enforcement and humanitarian aid systems that protect vulnerable populations worldwide. Air India crash spotlights Boeing's safety. An Air India crash has put Boeing aircraft safety under intense scrutiny again. Investigations are ongoing, but the incident renews questions about aircraft manufacturer responsibility and global aviation safety standards. The human cost. Numerous lives were lost, devastating families, and shaking public confidence in air travel safety. Boeing is cooperating with aviation authorities as investigations continue. For travelers worldwide, this highlights ongoing concerns about aircraft safety protocols. Every aviation incident affects global travel confidence and regulatory standards that protect millions of passengers daily. Iran nuclear deal deadline approaches. Iran faces crushing new sanctions if nuclear deal negotiations fail by the August deadline. Diplomatic efforts intensify as significant disagreements remain on monitoring and compliance measures. The stakes couldn't be higher. Failure would trigger stricter international sanctions, deepening economic hardships for Iranian citizens while escalating regional tensions. Success could stabilize the Middle East and global energy markets. This deadline affects you because Iranian conflict impacts global oil prices, regional security, and nuclear non-proliferation efforts that maintain international stability. France proposes holiday cuts for debt reduction. The French Prime Minister proposes eliminating 2 public holidays as part of austerity measures to reduce national debt. The proposal sparked immediate protests from labor unions defending cultural traditions. The economic reality: France needs fiscal measures to address debt, but cutting public holidays affects worker morale and economic activity. This reflects broader European challenges balancing economic prudence with social expectations. This matters globally because European economic policies affect international markets, trade relationships, and social models that influence labor policies worldwide. Israel's air superiority analysis. Military analysts report Israel maintains overwhelming air superiority capabilities that would shape any conflict scenario with Iran. Intelligence focuses on weapons systems, drones, and missile capabilities amid rising tensions. The strategic significance: Israel's air dominance influences regional power balances and global diplomatic strategies regarding Iran. Any escalation risks large-scale casualties and Middle East destabilization. This affects international security because Middle East conflicts impact global energy supplies, trade routes, and alliance structures that maintain international stability. Analysis and connections. Looking at today's stories, 3 critical themes emerge that will shape your world. First, data security failures are triggering massive, undisclosed population movements. The Afghan data leak shows how digital vulnerabilities create real-world chaos affecting thousands of lives. Second, regional conflicts are escalating simultaneously. From Syria to Gaza to Iran, Middle Eastern tensions are reaching critical levels that affect global stability, energy prices, and international security. Third, governments worldwide are implementing unprecedented measures, from deportations to holiday cuts to sanctions, that directly impact citizens' daily lives. These aren't isolated incidents. They're interconnected crises that demand your attention because they affect security, economic stability, and social structures globally. The key question: are democratic institutions equipped to handle simultaneous crises involving migration, regional conflicts, and economic pressures while maintaining transparency and accountability? That's today's Daily Signal. Stay informed, stay engaged, and remember, these stories shape your world, whether you're paying attention or not. I'm Remo. We'll see you tomorrow.